Good evening and welcome to Business Today. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko with Winnie Buyinza Nakauchi on sign language, and this is your daily report. We kick-start it off with labor externalization in the country, as one of Uganda's largest issues is unemployment, and this doesn't seem to be resolved as quickly as most Ugandans hope so. For Ugandans who are fortunate enough to make some money in the Middle East, labor externalization was a way out. Prior to the implementation of the new legislation, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Economic and Social Development has stated that it will return all the Middle Eastern migrant workers in distress to their respective agencies. Let's have more of this report.
Based on the available data, it is clear that the labor externalization sector is crucial to solve Uganda's unemployment issue. The remittance of migrant workers, who are currently estimated to make up roughly 5% of the GNP, are another source of foreign exchange for the country. Speaking to the media, the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development announced that the government of Uganda and the UAE will work together to deport all of the indigent migrant workers from the UAE. She also urged all Ugandans who have indigent relatives abroad to let them know about the organization responsible for their deportation.
Through our embassy, had a very humanitarian offer from the government of UAE to give tickets to all Ugandans who are stranded in UAE and would like to come back to Uganda. And they will be given free tickets to come back. At the moment, they are being registered by the government of UAE, of course, with close collaboration with our embassy, and the registration is being undertaken in a place called Al Awir Immigration Center.
Despite the difficulties, migrant workers have improved the economy in a variety of ways, says Honorable Betty Amongi.
They have started their own businesses arising from the skills that they have acquired from their work. We get remittances of $900 million per year from these people, and these 900 million remittances are not coming to government, they are coming to the economy. They are coming to build houses for these migrant workers, they are coming to pay school fees for these migrant workers, they are using it to help their parents. Most women who are migrant workers are now the breadwinners for their husbands back home.
One of the things that has caused conflict between the agencies and the foreign workers has been taxes, but the minister has straightened this up and certain workers have been excluded.
$30, actually, this is related to the job orders I've just mentioned, which one has to pay per head in Saudi. You have to pay this money, then you put in your job order. You need 100 laborers from Uganda, or 500. You have to pay $30 per head. Actually, these taxes are cut before even the workers are supplied. You can imagine. So many Arabs are demanding Uganda the taxes they paid before even the laborers were deployed.
Companies that were raising concerns about the fees that were being charged, $30 for jobs for World Cup. I want to confirm that the ministry has gazetted last Friday already, and we have removed any fees to be paid for jobs abroad. The $30 that was required for jobs to be placed before it is placed in Uganda, you are required to pay either in Qatar or Kingdom of Saudi Arabia the $30 for jobs that are not housemaids. We have removed the $30. So the $30 will remain only for jobs that are for domestic workers. The rest of the jobs, drivers, semi-skilled and skilled, you don't require to pay the $30 anymore.
In order to lessen the stress on migrant workers, the ministry has updated the rules under which labor businesses must operate, including 100 million Uganda shillings guarantee to the ministry, licenses, registration of all company personnel, among others. Desire Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now, sad times in the United Kingdom as breaking news just a few minutes before we went on air. Queen Elizabeth II has passed on, according to the Buckingham Palace officials who have announced this. Now, as following the statement of this one, Queen Elizabeth, the United Kingdom's longest-serving monarch, has died at the Balmoral, aged 96, after reigning for 70 years. Her family gathered at her Scottish estate after concerns grew about her health earlier on Thursday. The Queen came to the throne in 1952 and witnessed enormous social change. With her death, her eldest son Charles, the former Prince of Wales, will lead the country in mourning as the new king and the head of state for 14 Commonwealth realms. And in the statement, Buckingham Palace said the Queen died peacefully at the Balmoral this afternoon. The King and the Queen concert will remain at the Balmoral this evening and will return to London tomorrow. All the Queen's children travelled to Balmoral near Aberdeen after doctors placed the Queen under medical supervision. Her grandson, on the other hand, Prince William, is also there with his brother, Prince Harry, on the way to say goodbye to their Queen of England. Queen Elizabeth last stepped in Uganda in 2007 during the CHOGM, that is the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, and of course proceedings for the burial as well as the issues to do with condolences and all that will be proceeding, and we shall still be waiting for official statements in there. But currently the death of Queen Elizabeth II, England as well as the United Kingdom is facing some severe inflation, as inflation is still rising. But however, at this time it is time to mourn the death of the world's most serving monarch, 70 years since 1952. All right, rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth II. And we shall surely be giving you all the details regarding the death of Queen Elizabeth tomorrow and in our bulletins as well as our programming to give you more updates regarding that. Okay, now away from that, we move on to the Microfinance Regulatory Authority on money laundering. The regulation of Tier 4 Microfinance and Money Lenders Act for institutions, that is to say money lenders, SACCOs, non-deposit taking microfinance institutions and self-help groups, is critical since money sharks in the disguise of money lenders have proliferated in all corners of the country. And this is contributing to the country's unsound financial position. Ronan Ahabwe has more of the details.
Under Microfinance Regulatory Authority, under Section 6 of the Microfinance Institutions and Money Lending Institutions Act 2006, it is mandated to regulate, license and supervise money lenders in Uganda. Today it held a sensitization workshop to educate money lenders and also teach them the legal framework of this whole system. We understand we have recorded a number of cases in regards to money lenders, illegal businesses that have created a lot of havoc in the business community. We expect with this sensitization, people to be able to understand the business of money lending and create public awareness and Ugandans for them to be sure that they are regulated money lending business or money lenders in Uganda that can be sure of their businesses in the country.
Some microfinance institutions actually who are illegal, they go on attempting to acquire property or collateral for the borrower, but as the regulator, we have what we call a complaint handling mechanism, Consumer Protection Bureau, which is in place, and every time a complaint is raised up, we handle it, investigate the matter, we ensure that this microfinance institution, first of all, it must be licensed. If it is not licensed, it is operating illegally. Even when it moves into courts of the law, it cannot recover the money lent out with interest. First of all, it doesn't have the requirement of lending out money, and I'm urging the public outside there, kindly deal with only licensed microfinance institutions and money lenders. Do not trade with anyone who is not licensed. First of all, it is supposed a microfinance institution or a money lender should display their license, which is license regulated and supervised by Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority.
People lack information. Why would you go to a money lender you have not done due diligence?
Additionally, excessive interest rates have been warned against by money lenders.
A money lender lends money at an exorbitant interest rate. The court is allowed to open the transaction under the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act 2016 with the regulations thereunder. If you charge me exorbitant interest rates and we end into courts of law, the magistrate can decide to open the transaction, to either nullify the transaction, to either decide that amount of money so far I've paid is enough and I shouldn't pay any other money, to either decide that the principal remaining should be paid without any interest rate. So as money lenders and microfinance institutions, let us learn from this, or from this section of the law, that we should not charge exorbitant interest rates, because it can end up in courts of law when a borrower has failed to meet their loan obligations.
A credit reference bureau that keeps track of clients' borrowing habits is one of the regulatory tools in place to ensure the performance of firms that lend money.
It is actually a very effective mechanism because it is being accessed by all financial institutions regulated under the central bank. The Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act, it is prescribed, it requires the FIA, that is Financial Institutions Act, to amend the CRB, allow the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions access the CRB, and the regulations we are waiting on to Bank of Uganda to finish the process of regulations to open the space for the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and money lenders access the CRB, which is very soon. We are hoping that the credit history for all borrowers in this financial sector space will be open now to all institutions that are trading.
To secure the development of the connection that produces more business partners, delinquency management is a delicate process that needs a legal framework. According to Rachel Vanessa Muhwezi, the manager microfinance institutions at Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, she says it's only after 60 days after the demand notice that the money lenders or finance institutions can take up collateral from the borrowers. It's illegal to take away IDs, passports or ATMs from their borrowers as it's against the law. Licensed borrowers should exercise caution when dealing with unlicensed Tier 4 microfinance institutions and money lenders because there are over 1,300 institutions. Rona Nahabwe, Business Today, Smart 24 TV.
All right, now let's talk the Uganda-Japan relations. The government of Uganda, together with that of Japan, have today awarded certificates to the trainers of trainees, to the training of trainers under the Mechanical Engineering Training and Advisory Center. Over 45 beneficiaries have been awarded, thus aiming at achieving Sustainable Development Goal 4, 6, and 17. Naomi Mutumba with the report.
The government of Uganda has been concentrating on enhancing the transportation infrastructure since 1986 in order to speed up economic growth. The government spent over $155 million in 2015 to buy 1,151 units of road construction equipment from Japanese manufacturers. A lot of machine failures brought on by incorrect operations have occurred as a result of the lack of an equivalent investment in human resources at the time. Simultaneously, skilled road equipment operators are highly sought after, as this profession is not yet taught at Uganda's technical and vocational education and training institutions. The project, worth 2.34 million started in September 2019 with the aim of bridging the industrial skills gap for road equipment operators in Uganda, where the first ever vocational training center for skill, developing curriculum, training trainers, operators and youth will be built.
When we got this equipment, we realized that this equipment can have a long life. It can stay for long. It can really take long as a functional equipment. But the life of the equipment depends on the capability and knowledge of the operator. If the operator does not have the required skills, if the operator is not knowledgeable on using the machine, then it may not last long, regardless whether it comes from the factory as a very, very good machine.
I'll give a very simple example which all of you can understand. I came here 2 years ago and I see on the roads many Japanese cars, 20 years old, 30 years old, etc. Okay? Everybody is taking care of those machines. Why? Because it's their own car. Okay? So if there's any noise somewhere, they say, oh, something is wrong. Okay? And I think that exactly the same with these machines. Okay? So skills, techniques are important, but at the same time, I just was talking with the minister before starting a ceremony, that mindset is also very important.
So they agreed that we are going to work together and establish a training center for them so that the skills which are required can be imparted to the operators and the mechanics, the maintenance team. So that's the purpose of this center. And I'm very happy that the Luero, as a district, welcomed us. They helped us to get land, about 10 acres, which we have already got, working with Japan and UNIDO, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. We have developed the curriculum. They are now building the center. And I think within 2 years now, 1 year, we have groundbreaking. 3 months. In 3 months, we'll do the groundbreaking. You are invited.
And this training, first of all, it's going to help operators in all the districts, even maybe even normal people who want to learn. It's going to help them to get work from the government, especially after learning the training. And at the same time, the training will also help them to maintain the machines. Because like before, you've been seeing like the government has been bringing machines, but they would get spoiled because people are not skilled.
Over 45 beneficiaries have been trained and awarded with the certificates to use such machines. Another training will commence in January 2023. Naomi Mtumba, Business Today, Smart 24 TV.
Now we look at the chains of product distribution. Businesses are increasingly attempting to make significant changes to restructure their worldwide supply networks. This trend has lately been accelerated by the pandemic. In order to lower the risk of concentration, they are thinking of diversifying the vendors and geographical areas they rely on. Occasionally, products and services are delivered to customers via a variety of short and long distance means. Manufacturers today offer a variety of distribution options that one can use to boost sales. Naima Matumba reports.
A chain of enterprises known as distribution channel is where products travel before they are purchased or used by the final customer. These people include distributors, retailers, and wholesalers. How do we get our product to the consumer? Is a topic that is addressed by the downstream process, which includes distribution channels. The supply chain, or upstream process, on the other hand, provides a response to the query, who are our suppliers? According to the Kweshwara Group of Farms, there are numerous distribution routes that producers can employ to get to their products to the final consumer.
Business is divided in 4 parts. We are in distribution. Actually, our passion is also a distribution. Then we are in manufacturing, we are in importation, and we are in logistics. So our business if someone asks me, I can say our business is in 4 divisions.
Distributions, we do have various channels of distribution with our own fleet, and across the country through 30 profit centers. So our reach is quite deeper. We go down the line, and we reach quite number of customers. Okay, big number of customers, and we have our own setup like wholesale, general trade, modern trade, Horeca. These are the channels of distributions.
Supply directly to wholesale, we supply to modern trade and general trade.
The volume of goods imported by Uganda increased to $362.4 million in February 2022 from $291.6 million in January 2022, with primary plastics, cereals, and fixed vegetable fats and oils among the top imports. According to a report by Uganda Bureau of Statistics, China and India were the primary sources of Uganda's imports in the country. China's import expenses climbed to $185 million in February 2022 from $114.7 million in January 2022, while expenses to India increased to $89.4 million in February 2022 from $82.2 million in January 2022, but manufacturers still have no answer for imports.
We are importing food product and consumer items from different part of world.
Who import from number of countries like Kenya, India, Egypt, UK, and some other countries where we import confectionaries, spaghetti pasta, and some other products.
By creating jobs, manufacturers and distributors significantly increase the GDP of the nation. However, these continue to have issues with the inadequate infrastructure, particularly with the supply chain.
Employment. Biggest problem in Uganda is unemployment. So we are providing employment in Uganda. Second thing is we are paying the taxes. We are very compliant, we are paying the taxes. Third thing is we are trying to establish industries in Uganda where we can use the local product and manufacture. And same time we sell it in Uganda, and we are thinking to export also. So that is the 2 points. One is we provide, if we establish industry, we consume the local product to make a finished goods, and we provide the employment. Then when we export it, we get the exchange in Uganda, dollar we get in Uganda. But sometimes we face problem with like infrastructure, like if you want to supply the each and everywhere in Uganda, it's little bit hard for us to supply, and in any business infrastructure is very important. And then competition in market, when you are supplying competitor, if competitor is strong, little bit you get problem in market.
Over 70 years within the manufacturing and distribution industry, local manufacturers still face a challenge of importation of products and raw materials from other countries, which is affecting the economy. Naomi Mtumba, Business Today, Smart 24 TV.
Well, the Norwegian Program for Capacity Development in Higher Education and Research for Development has honored its sustained financial support to Baku University's Business School. The PhD program in energy economics is just one example of how NOHED has significantly impacted MOOBs. Experts predict that these programs will increase energy efficiency, which will encourage industrialization and the economic growth. Let's have more of this report.
Makerere University Business School, MOOBs, has for the last 6 years been involved with NORAD projects under the support of the Norwegian Agency for Development Corporation. In collaboration with the Norwegian University of Life Science, MOOBs has been able to establish and run the PhD and Master's program in energy economics and governance, which, according to the beneficiaries, is a plus.
That's why MTEL supported us for PhD program. And because of the PhD program, we are able to carry out this research. And what is extremely important, this NORAD program has made some changes in terms of how research is carried out. This is also using in national available data sets, which was somehow previously been ignored. But this, like national statistics, are important to inform policy. So because of NORAD, we have been able to exploit these opportunities and work with other government institutions to appreciate that actually we as MOBS student, PhD students, we can work together to come up with policies.
MOBS, it's a project that has helped to build capacity for masters in energy economics and governance, and then PhD in also energy economics and governance. Well, whereas the school also has its own program where it funds its lecturers to further their education. This program has also benefited the university in one or the other in trying to fund this program of studying for these other lecturers at school, and has indeed enabled very many lecturers to benefit from it, and I'm actually very pleased to be one of those who have benefited from this gesture.
Uganda is richly endowed with renewable energy resources for energy production and the provision of energy services. The total estimated potential is about 5,300 megawatts. These resources, however, remain largely unexploited, mainly due to lack of technical skills. Such trainings, according to Dr. Nicholas Mukisa, the National Coordinator, National Renewable Platform from the Ministry of Energy, will help to find out the missing link.
What we get from such trainings is that renewable energy is just an emerging space. There are very few people that have expertise in this space. And of course, you know that most of the time these technologies are coming from overseas, from other developed countries. So we have trained our local capacity to be able to operate, to run, to man these technologies at the different levels of our value chain. If you look at the value chain of energy or renewable energy, we have a component manufacture and distribution, we have project management, we have construction and installation, then we have monitoring and evaluation. At all these levels of the value chain, there are different openings, job opportunities for people in the energy space.
Master's students doing their masters in energy economics and governance, perhaps the first program of its kind in the region. And these are students that will be able to help the country get out of challenges to do with energy economics.
On top of other endeavors, the government acknowledges a number of key areas where energy efficiency could be improved. These include increasing solar water heater installation to 30,000 megawatts and implementing industrial energy auditing and the dissemination of efficient equipment to industries. This, therefore, will boost industrialization that spurs economic growth. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
It is break time now. We return with more after the commercials.